Hello friends and family from around the world. This is Mike with Morning Dew, daily events worldwide, and we are on June 27th, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Dew, where we look at world weather, earthquakes, volcanoes, and of course space weather, focusing on our sun right now, 304 angstroms the last 48 hours, as we did have two C.M.Es shoot off, one off the right side, top right, and one off the left. Looking here, incoming images, 1, 2, 3 sunspot regions. So pretty active, as we do have another one cresting in, bright side there. Outgoing here, top left-hand side is where the C.M.E shot out. Another close look here at the incoming sunspot regions. That bottom one is very organized. Another quick look at negative light, observing the bright regions, and as well C.M.E to the right and as well to the left. Kind of antipode to each other. Looking here at another light, 193 angstroms. No Earth-facing coronal holes, except for the northern region, but not really towards us. Looking here at the ISWA space prediction spiral, and you can see the one on the right shot right at Mercury, and as well Venus, and the others towards stereo B. Looking here at Alaska 2 and 3, you can see both of the events. 1 and 2. Amazing busy space up there, and thank you Solar Dynamics Observatory for providing these images for us. The only safe way we can watch the sun. Looking here, geomagnetic activity remains low. Solar flux is a little bit up. Looking at a real-time solar wind, 328 kilometers per second, and you can see here the solar flux is up a little bit with the jagged solar winds and as well the temperatures. Density, looking at Schumann resonance for today, a power of 78, quality of 12.8. And have a look at earthquakes here for the last 24 hours. We'll start out here, United States, as it's been calmly a weird calm, I would say. We're going through a lull right now for earthquakes. Lonely 2.8 earthquake here to report in Texas. A few earthquakes through California. Pinnacles, largest 2.9 there through the area. Hawaii seeing a 3.0. Alaska seeing a lot of small earthquakes over the past 24 hours. As well to a 2 station, 4.0. 4.6 there in Kursk, Russia. And pretty quiet through this region as well. No earthquakes to report through Japan. Sizable 5.4 earthquake to report in Philippines, 56 kilometer depth. And as well, 4.7 there, Indonesia, and a 4.9 Pulong, Indonesia, both sides of Krakatoa. A couple earthquakes there, Banda Sea, and that's Luotolo, massively erupting there. And then our deepest earthquakes today, Fiji Islands, 4.5, 512 kilometer depth. As well, we had a 4.3, 628 kilometer depth. That's definitely the deepest earthquake the last 7 days. So deep events coming out of Fiji today. Lots of activity through Central America. Mexico, 4.3, 2 of them to report. As well, Jamaica, seeing a 4.2 today. Morant Bay, Jamaica, and that's right beside our very active subduction zone through Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. The largest they saw today was the 3.6, Puerto Rico. But there's been lots of activity coming out of the Atlantic recently, 4.5 there to report today. But pretty sizable one here yesterday, 5.7, their mid-Atlantic ridge. 10-kilometer depth. As well, Africa reporting a 4.6 here today in Namibia at a 10-kilometer depth. And Europe reporting yesterday a pretty rare 4.1 in France. Today, 4.3 here in Iran. But pretty quiet for the last 24 hours, only looking at 215 earthquakes across the planet, according to USGS. Looking here the last 7 days, a lot of 4s recently. They seem to be piling up through the Philippines plate, through the Banda Sea. Rare earthquakes coming through Europe. Mid-Atlantic Ridge seeing activity, and as well South America this week picking up some activity. West Chile Rise. Eerily quiet across the United States. We just had some pretty deep earthquakes, so heads up, everybody. Having a look here, Pacific Disaster Center showing the most recent volcanoes to update, looking at Ibu in Indonesia, and as well Nevados de Chilean, Dacono in Indonesia, Reventador in Ecuador, Fuego, Guatemala, Sabancaya in Peru, Etna in Italy, Swiss and Najima, Japan, Sangay in Ecuador. And so that's about 11 volcanoes getting updated today. We still have active 47 across the planet. And some fires to talk about across the West U.S. as well. Pacific Disaster Center reporting here, Monterey Fire in California, and as well the Creek Fire, California. A new one here through Arizona, as well the Pinal-Gila, now burning for 30 days. The Telegraph Fire, 30-day fire. Gee, I wonder what's burning there. There can't be anything left to burn. So northern Arizona reporting a couple fires as well. Rio Bianco through Colorado. So some fires have sprouted up through Colorado this week as well. And northward into Montana. Carbon County Fire and Canyon County Fire. And of course the fire through British Columbia. Sequoia Fire. And we're going to be watching this region here. Only major storm to talk about is Hurricane Enrique. And it looks like it's going to grind its way into the Mexico coastline. Doesn't look like it will be going over the land. So hopefully it will stay and just head westward out into the Pacific. But then overlooking the Gulf, we do have a low that is centered in the middle of the Gulf. Been watching it for the last couple of days, but no real organization to it. And now heading into Texas. Very warm Texas. Very warm North America for that fact. Mostly west and north, as far north as Alaska. So let's have a look at the 5-day forecast brought to you by Meteor Earth and daily events worldwide, starting out here. Calgary, Alberta, home base. It was only 28 degrees, but it was super hot. Humidity levels already hopping up. We're looking at a pretty dry week ahead. 43 degrees in parts of North Edmonton towards Fort McMurray. And then super hot through Washington State. Got a small low pressure system here developing northern BC. Could bring some relief later in the week. But this week is going to be hot, hot, hot. Stay hydrated, everybody. Most of the moisture is eastward. Watch for this long line of moisture with that cold front to sweep across the nation over here the next 4 days of rain for the United States. And as well, eastern Canada, some pretty cool temperatures with a low coming out of the Hudson Bay. Some pretty cool temperatures behind all this. Parts of Quebec, northern Ontario, even as far south as mid-central United States. Overlooking Central America. Forecast here for Enrique. And it looks like it will stay along the coastline here, even with this 5-day forecast, possibly grind right up into the Salton Sea. Overlooking South America, drying up through the week here as some lows north of you steal all the moisture. Not much for daily evaporation rains. Some cool temperatures across most of the southern parts, Argentina and Chile. But no major weather systems to talk about there. No major weather systems to talk about through Africa as well. We'll be talking about the heat in the northern parts of Africa. Again, no major weather systems coming through this week. Overlooking Europe, a low pressure center coming out of Spain. It's going to try and move its way eastward. Most likely will bring some severe weather towards parts of Central Europe and northward. Low pressure system there, parts of northeastern Europe and the border with Russia. Southeast Asia, still watching that low pressure system spinning and dropping tons of rain through Myanmar and Nepal. And it looks like that low pressure center is finally going to leave the Tibetan Plateau. You can see here in the 5-day forecast, the center of the low trying to scoot southeastward. So you guys could have some relief in the long range forecast. Other than that, it looks like a pretty dramatic shift across the Pacific as well. Seeing these low pressure systems just moving in different directions. No major systems affecting Papua New Guinea, Indonesia. Overlooking Australia. Line of moisture here coming in through the high pressure ridge. Going to bring rain coastal regions as far south as Sydney, far north as New South Wales. Drying out for New Zealand for the next 4 days, as you do have a high pressure ridge that's moving in. Pretty intense system just north of you. Overlooking the Pacific, the big islands of Hawaii, you've got a little bit of moisture moving in for Wednesday. Other than that, no major weather systems affecting the big islands. Quick look here at the Pacific Ocean. High pressure ridge seems to be breaking down a little bit there on the coastline. We could see a shift here for moisture anyway for parts of Western Canada. Atlantic, still pretty dominant high pressure ridge there. Going to leave you here looking at the southern hemisphere versus the northern, pointing out the major systems in each of the poles. Thanks for watching today. This has been Mike with Morning Dew Daily Events Worldwide. Really hope you enjoy these updates. If you do, please leave a like. Let me know how much you love them. Thanks for watching. Stay aware and prepared. Stay young and have fun. And get your morning dew. Bye-bye now. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends and family from across the world.